Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jake Kleinknecht here, along with, once again, head coach Scott Langer. Coach, everybody at your house survived the Super Bowl?
Yeah, there was no fights. Thank God.
I was thinking about you guys. I thought, boy, I hope it doesn't come to fisticuffs. But nice win for the Chiefs there, and congratulations to their fans. Big weekend for the Wings up in Minot, a 4-1 win, despite Minot scoring first. A strong start, really, for you guys in a lot of senses. Outshot them, outchanced them all the way through the first, and then a strong finish, too. The power play went 104. Penalty killed off all 5 of their chances. We talked a little bit Saturday that, as a staff, you guys are pretty happy overall with the way things went there on Friday night, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we got off, normally you have a little slow start when you go to Minot because it's a game day travel, but I thought our guys did a really good job of coming out, and, obviously we got scored on early, but we had really good energy, and I thought we tilted the ice there, especially in the first, which didn't allow them to get going.
Yeah. Well, and then you follow it up. And Saturdays, like we've talked about on several occasions, Saturdays are tough on the road in the Central Division, but you come out and, again, a really strong start, scoring just a minute 36 seconds in. You're up 3-0 at one point. They get a big push in the second with 3 power play goals. Dubois gets kind of a wacky goal in the third to give you guys a 4-3 win Saturday. Again, a great start. Your power play went 1 of 3, killed off 4 of 7 power play opportunities that Minot had. Saturday's matchup, you like a 3-0 lead and scoring early for sure.
Yeah, I mean, getting out early again on the road is always important. It gives yourself a chance. And, despite the second period, which was interesting, so to speak, I mean, without getting fined, it's just interesting. But, the good thing is again, our guys are taking steps where I think a month ago or so, we probably lose that game. Yeah. We lose the focus and we lose that game. And now our guys, they just were determined once they got out there in the third period. We really tipped the rink a little bit again in the third period, which was good. And, Doobie being our captain, it's a leadership thing when he goes out there and scores a goal like that. And, it's huge, and it gives our guys some momentum going into the weekend.
Without a doubt. Well, and, the power play goals that were given up in the second, it looked to me, at least 2 of them were off a stick and redirected 6 feet in front of a goaltender. And I always say those are, it's tough for anybody to make an adjustment to something that changes directions when it's traveling that fast. But again, they come up with some big goals there in the second, had a big push, and the crowd energized, the team energized, but you guys stuck with it and end up with a sweep of Minot up in their building. 2 power play goals on the weekend. Trending the right direction for sure. What was the major difference, do you think?
Well, Zach's putting a lot of time into that group, and it's power play is usually almost a 2-year process. We've talked about that, and it takes a long time for your power play to really click, but he's doing a good job, and he's just sticking with it. He could easily become frustrated with how we've been in the past. So, right. But I thought the big thing this weekend is our power play gave us momentum as opposed to giving the other team momentum, right. and that was really big. We kept the puck in their zone. He had some really good chances, and obviously we scored a few times. So changed up our work week last week. Did a little bit of a different. A different approach to how we do the power play. So, again, we'll go back at it. But I think that you're right. They're trending in the right direction.
Good to hear. Great weekend for Alexander Gullickson, 3 assists and 2 goals on the weekend. We talked about it. A lot of penalties on this weekend. A very much maligned referee. I got thinking about it and watching the Super Bowl even. There's been several games that in the NFL or whatever sport it is, the referee can take a lot of blame. And do you think sometimes, and certainly, you're not opposed to getting after a referee if they miss something or whatever, but can they get too much blame? Across sports, not even just in Wings games or hockey games, but you see, where there's these shortages and people that are having a hard time even finding referees. It'd be a hard job to do. And everyone in the building hates you pretty much.
So we're before the game on Friday, we're watching a youth hockey game that's right next door.
Yeah.
And this referee calls a penalty, and next thing you know, he gets berated. He stops the game, and he kicks the mom out of the building. And it took about 10 minutes to get her out of there. They get a lot of heat.
They do.
Some of it's brought on by them. because we have younger officials in our league and they're learning just like everybody else. But it comes down to communication at the end of the day. And I think that if there's a little more communication between officials and coaches, we would be okay with more things because we would understand what they're saying, what they're seeing, and what they're doing. It's hard when you're a coach and you're watching from the bench and you see something that's blatantly a call or blatantly shouldn't be a call, and the official won't talk to you. So it just, as a coach, you get more heated, right?
Yeah.
It starts to boil over. But those guys, they go out and they work hard and they're trying, and they have bad nights too. They have good nights, and but yeah, I mean, they're going to be blamed, especially by the home crowd for every little thing. I think that's sports in general, right? No fans like officials.
Well, we got to have a thick skin, that's for sure. But and I don't know. It occurred to me again, even in watching the end of yesterday's football game, there ends up being a somewhat controversial call, and it's like, wow, it's a tough job for sure. Last week was Top Prospects. We had Coach Stepan on the show. Of course, you were over out east there. Pretty proud of the performance of the Wings that were representing the Central Division over there with you guys. I would imagine things went well.
Yeah, I thought our guys represented us really well. It's always hard for those guys because they play the 2 games on the weekend. They have the travel day, and then they're playing 2 more in a row. So, but I thought they competed well, competed hard. It's not easy to get dropped in lineups with guys you've never played with.
Right.
Sit in the locker room with guys you have no idea who they are. But yeah, it was a good time. Our guys did a good job.
Glad to hear everything went well. Trade deadline has come and gone. New face in the locker room, Nick Comfort. Saw some minutes on Saturday night, and I thought it really played pretty well for being just kind of thrown in like that. What does Nick bring to the team, to the locker room?
Well, he's a detail guy. He's a shutdown type defenseman that likes to defend and move pucks north. And we needed one of those type of guys that just really wants to pride himself on shutting the opposition down, because a lot of our other defensemen are really into the 200-foot game, and
right.
they take some chances they probably shouldn't sometimes. But Nick's more of a stable D and he's young. He's a developing D that we're looking to for the future as well. So this is it's good. Yeah, I mean, we had a long-term injury come up and we had to fill our roster, and Nick was available. So, and we're happy to have him.
Yeah, we had I know a couple of big block shots there late in the third that he really added a lot to the win. Standings: Austin right now with 59 points, top the Central Division. Wings with 48 points in second now. St. Cloud has climbed up to third with 47 points. Minot drops to fourth with 44 points. Then Bismarck 42, and North Iowa at the bottom of the division with 41 points. North Iowa has 41 games. Austin has 43 games. Everybody else in the middle with 42. You have North Iowa next, a team that you haven't seen since November down in Mason City, Iowa. It's been a long time since you've seen the North Iowa Bulls, but again, there's plenty of film out there and so on. What have you seen from the Bulls? Well,
I mean, they're a team that can really hurt you. They can score. They like to play track meet hockey where they get up and down the ice and they utilize their speed. So I think defensively you got to be good. You got to have good goaltending and timely scoring.
Well, very close division as we ran through those points. I mean, especially with Austin a little bit of a lead, but everybody else very close. And of course, North Iowa split with Austin, top team in the division last weekend after they beat them on Saturday night. So they're going to be feeling some confidence too after beating the number 1 team in the division. All right, Coach. As always, I appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day to join us here. So thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, folks. We'll return with the second portion of Wings Weekly coming up after this.
We raise the bar on bar food with sandwiches, tenders, and there's more where this came from. To the greatest of all time.
Welcome back to the second portion of Wings Weekly, and as usual, a player is joining me. This time it is Nick Justice of Livonia, Michigan. Thank you for taking some time to join us here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. How you feeling? You got a puck up high, it sounds like, huh?
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, obviously taking a puck to the chin isn't really what you want to happen in the game, but it was short-lived pain, so it's all good.
That's true. It's chicks dig scars, they say. So there's that. let's see. I always want to start basically with how you got started in the game of hockey. How old were you, and what were some influences that got you going?
My dad was definitely my biggest influence, because when I was like, he claims at like 11 months old, he had me on skates, like walking around the whole rink during like free skate. And then he got me into it. He claims,
like, what, you don't believe him?
Well, like, 11 months, that's like when you learn to walk. Like, that's really early. And then he started me playing on Timbits at like 4 years old. And then, obviously, from there, I've just enjoyed the game every time I've played. So, I mean, it didn't really take much to get me to like the game. So.
For sure. I had a chance to meet your dad in Austin. He's a really nice guy. You come from El Paso, come to us from El Paso. That's got to be a bit of a culture shock in its own right. You weren't there all that long, but still, not only a much bigger city, but a whole different environment. But you had a little help. Now, if I'm not mistaken, when I noticed that you came to us from Livonia, right away, Jake Bonet's name popped into my mind. And if I'm not mistaken, I saw on a mic'd up that you actually reached out to him when you found out you were coming to Aberdeen. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, he played at the same high school that I played at, and he was like a big influence there. Everyone knew him. Like, he was the captain there. So like, we had like a mentorship that our coach like set up there, and he was like my mentor guy or whatever. So I like reached out to him, texted him a bit, like just see what he like thought of like Aberdeen and everything like that. And from what I heard, like everything was awesome.
Well, that's got to make you feel a little bit better, knowing that somebody that you know pretty well, and trust their advice and stuff when they give you a little insight on what to expect. Has it lived up to the expectations of how he described it or what he said?
Oh, it definitely exceeded it for sure.
Excellent, good. Well, and his brother plays it was Stevens, right?
Yeah, Stevenson. Yeah,
Stevenson. So
I actually played with his brother. His Jack Bonet.
Yeah,
so
I thought so. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a small world. It always amazes me how hockey players, they know each other from somewhere, somehow. It's a small world, even though it doesn't seem like it. You've got, as a defenseman, there's new faces coming into the locker room, like we talked about with Nick Comfort and so on. You being a guy that has, been somewhat recent to the lineup. What's that like when you are join a team? Like I said, you have a little bit of an insight from Jake Bonet about the community, about the team, but he doesn't know these players. So, you step in. What was that like as far as building relationships early on?
Man, so like obviously coming in as a new guy, it's really hard at the beginning, but like as days go by, it becomes a lot easier because everyone's talking to you, like you're in the mix with everything. So it's really easy, like especially being on the other end of it, because last year I was in El Paso, and it was just like a revolving door. So it was new players like every day, like every week. So it was pretty hard to like actually establish like a relationship with all the guys. So being on the other end of it, it's definitely like a lot easier because you can actually like build a relationship with like the core guys.
Right. Well, and then I got to thinking about somebody new coming in here this week, and how someone like you might, I don't know, I want to say make it a little easier to kind of reach out to them because you have been through that and that situation. An opportunity anyway to make them feel a little more at home. What would you say your defensive style is? And then, let me ask you first: have you always been a blue liner, or did you play as a forward for a while, maybe? Or
yeah, I was actually a center when I first started playing. I was on a team. I don't remember what year it was, but we were missing a lot of defensemen, and our coach basically said, whoever skates the best backwards, like, you're a defenseman. And of course that was me. So I'm a defenseman now, but kind of miss playing center a bit. Yeah. But I mean, defense is always fine.
You're a guy though that isn't afraid to to go down the boards and carry a puck in and stuff. And I would imagine that experience as a centerman, it helps in that too.
Oh, for sure.
Because we were just talking with Coach about some guys are more stay-at-home defensemen and others are a little bit more of offensive presence and so on. So nice to have that mix for sure. What would you say your style? Is there an NHL guy that you kind of go, I model my game a little after them?
It's kind of hard to say, but I've always liked Lindstrom a lot. He's always been like my favorite player growing up. But maybe like a Carlson.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Just kind of like a stretch, but.
Yeah, well, I can see some similarities there for sure. All right, how about like when you're not in the locker room, you're not lifting weights, you're not on the ice, what do you like to do? You got any hobbies or anything?
I like fishing. I like baseball because I played baseball growing up.
Okay.
I was actually pretty good at baseball, but obviously I decided to take hockey more serious. But
Tigers fan?
yeah, they're on the decline right now, but hopefully they get better. Games are awesome though. Like,
Yeah.
you definitely should go to one. And then I like chess, video games. Honestly, anything like outdoors is fine with me too.
Excellent. I think it's funny the different trends, like chess. Chess has been around forever, and then all of a sudden I hear you guys in the video, in video sessions talking about playing chess, and I'm looking around going, "What? Where did this come from?" It's like chess has been a popular game for a long time, but it seems like it kind of goes ebbs and flows.
Oh yeah.
All right. How about a game day ritual? What's your game day look like? Do you have a meal, nap time, all that kind of stuff, kind of set out?
Yeah, I got a nap time. It kind of varies. Like I just gotta wake up at 3:30, then I take a shower, brush my teeth, come to the rink, and then I usually have like two those like little like coffee packs.
Yeah.
Put in the Keurigs. I put like two of those like Tim Hortons ones because in Michigan like Tim Hortons is a big thing.
Right.
And Tim Hortons coffee is not beatable.
There are some that would say Dunkin' might have it. But,
No, Dunkin' does not have it. No way.
How about your meal? Is there a meal that you go with every game day?
No, it kind of just depends what's in the fridge.
I don't know. All right. How about superstitions? You got any of those? Anything you got to do? Otherwise, you feel just a little off.
I guess this is superstition. I always get put on my left side of my gear first every time. Like the skates, I always have to tie my left skate first. Shin pad always has to be the left one. I don't know. It's weird.
That is a superstition that I've heard before, though. So
Really?
It can't be too weird. Yep. I definitely hear certain different players that have said that they have to go one side and then the next or whatever.
Not alone, man. That's crazy.
Not alone. How about a superhero? If you could pick out or be any superhero, who would it be?
Some may not know. Some may not know this, but the Quickster. You know what that's from?
No, I have no clue.
SpongeBob.
Wow. That took a turn I did not expect. The Quickster. Well, explain what the Quickster's power is. Is it like a flash chemical?
Yeah,
really
it's
fast?
basically just a Flash, but a lot better.
From
SpongeBob definitely wears that a lot better than Flash.
Okay, I love that. Love that. Okay, how about your go-to music? Do you have any what's your listen to music that gets you pumped up for games? Not really music yet.
I mean, whatever Devo plays in the locker room is always great, but I like country, rap, and old music. I really like the old music a lot recently, so that's more I'd probably go there first.
Old, you're talking old country or old 80s rock?
80s rock,
Okay.
yeah.
Like Motley Crue and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
Oh yeah.
Love that. That's my era. I love that stuff. All right. How about this one? Would you rather have all the decisions in your life, throughout the world made? You never ever have to decide anything. It's all just planned out for you. It's all done for you. Nothing to worry about. Or have to make all of the decisions for everybody in the world and have all the power, but all the responsibility too. Which one would you rather have?
I don't know. That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Having to decide for everyone, if I'm going to be honest.
It does sound like a lot of work. A lot of work, a lot of responsibility.
But I don't want someone to choose it for me. It's kind of hard.
Yeah. It's a tough one for sure.
It's for sure a tough one.
I mean, yeah. I'll let you slide on that one because it is a tough one.
What would you pick?
I think I'd go with the decisions. I would hate having to be told what to do and where to go all the time and how to. That would drive me nuts.
Yeah,
So,
it's kind of like that one movie. What's it called? Something Almighty, where Jim Carrey becomes God.
oh yeah, Almighty, Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, and at first it's fun, but then all of a
Then he
sudden
goes
it's-
crazy.
Yeah,
Right?
So there you go. That's a great example. But still, I even though the responsibility would be there, I think I'd have to go with make the decision.
Yeah, I'd probably have to go with, yeah.
All right, North Iowa coming up next. I talked with Coach a little bit about them. Now, this is a team that the Wings haven't seen since November down in Mason City, Iowa. You haven't seen them at all. A really nice facility down there, but and a nice community, all that's jazz, right? But a team that you haven't seen, so it's kind of tough to go, well, you know what they can do and can't do, although this week I'm sure you guys will be looking through some video and stuff. But just as a whole, as a group, what do you feel like you guys have to do to come away with some more wins and keep this streak going?
Yeah, so obviously, like, big things, just play wings hockey for sure, but what that consists of is just being very responsible in the D zone, just shutting things down, where that obviously, that's like the cornerstone that has to come first. And then just do our jobs in the O zone, and honestly, we'll be fine.
Well, and that was one of the things that I felt like you guys did well against Minot in all of the wins, really, was, and it was something Coach and I talked about at pregame and so on, was being able to kind of stifle them and keep the puck in your offensive zone and the forecheck being strong, being able to take that puck away and not really allow them to build anything. So like you said, being strong defensively, and like Coach mentioned, kind of actually offensively in a sense too. Some nice keys there. You've got again North Iowa coming up, so good luck against them.
Thank you.
All right, folks, the Wings will finally face a new opponent this week, as I was just talking about, a team we haven't seen for a long time, the North Iowa Bulls. The boys will hit the road on Friday and Saturday, February 17th and 18th, with the 7:10 puck drop both nights inside the Mason City Arena. Catch the action using your Hockey TV login or watch the games at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Aberdeen, the official home for all Wings away games. The game's audio will be broadcast via Hub City Radio's 94.1 The Rock, or you can download the Rock app and listen anywhere you go. We'll be back home to finish out February when we host the Bulls inside the Odie on Friday and Saturday, February 24th and 25th. Get your tickets online at tickets.aberdeenwings.com and stay tuned to our social media pages for game day information. Your skater can still sign up for Wings clinics with assistant coach Zach Stepan. Visit aberdeenwings.com and click the Aberdeen Wings Youth Clinics tab for details and dates. Don't forget, you can listen to Wings Weekly via our podcast. Find the audio for this season's episodes on Spotify, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio. And for the latest news and information on the Wings, visit aberdeenwings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok. Once again, folks, we appreciate you joining us and letting the folks see a little bit more about you and your personality. Nick Justice, Livonia, Michigan, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, that'll wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.